Going into the 2025 season, the Minnesota Vikings are on a downturn. Kirk Cousins is gone and the roster looks depleted, but they did go out and draft JJ McCarthy and gave Justin Jefferson one of the biggest deals for wide receiver in history. So today we're going to be jumping in to rebuild the Minnesota Vikings, and we're giving ourselves 3 years and a set of challenges to do it. We need to walk away with a Super Bowl win while building up the team to an 87 overall, and we need to snag at least one first seed while finding ourselves a franchise quarterback. During this entire challenge, we're using mods to help us out to make it a more integrative experience, so make sure to like and subscribe, and let's check out the roster for year number 1. I think looking at the roster right now, there's a really glaring issue at the guard position. Yes, the quarterback position, JJ McCarthy's in. We're going to be starting him right away over Sam Darnold. But on the defensive side, what really glares to me is that linebacking core. There's really nobody good there. Andrew Van Ginkel's pretty decent coming off the edge, but that defensive line also needs some work. They're going to be covered by the 3-4 defense, but that's going to be a big issue there. And one thing different about modded Madden is they have the progression tool. What this does is makes it a realistic player progression where every rookie's not stuck at 60 overall, and it allows some late round guys to make a big impact. Like, look at Dwight McGovern, already up to an 81 at corner. Jordan Addison's up 10 overall points. Dallas Turner took a nice jump. Murphy took a solid jump as well. Our entire cornerbacks look a lot better. Our linebacking core still didn't get any good upgrades, though. I'm just really mad that JJ McCarthy didn't take a jump. Looking at him, he's still a 70 overall. And outside of Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jordan Travis, and Carter Bradley, really nobody took a big jump. And so looking at our draft class, it looks like Dallas Turner was a massive hit. Kyrie Jackson could be good for us. Will Richard out of Alabama at a 74 overall kicker may be good for us. And then Michael Juergens, brother of Cam Juergens out of Wake Forest, may just be a plug-and-play guy if our center position is really that bad. But one of the craziest jumps for me is Tyrone Tracy, the Purdue running backs, up to a 72 for the Giants. And second-round man Zaire Newton out of Illinois is already up to an 80 at the interior for the Commanders. But one of the biggest problems going into year number 1 is going to be the cap space issue. You look at it, we have a lot of bad money in bad places. Like Jonathan Grenard getting $72.64 million. And I like Blake Casham, but him too getting $20 million on a long-term deal that's going to last until 2026. And it's rough in preseason that we went 1-2, and JJ McCarthy did not ball out. I mean, 65 completion percentage is good, but no touchdowns and 1 interception. But Aaron Jones really struggled to run the football, while Ty Chandler actually had some success. And the one thing I did not think is to move N'Keal Harry down into the tight end position. I want to see what his overall is there, but we now need to make our cuts for year number 1. And first at quarterback, I think Nick Mullins has to go, while Jalen Hall, we're going to move him down into the practice squad. And I know Vikings loyalists are going to hate this one, but I'm going to go ahead and move Kane down into the practice squad or just cut him. And I think I want to run 3 tight ends right now. So Myles Gaskins, you're also going to go, and we're going to keep Dwayne McBride on the roster for right now because stats do matter and have an impact on overall. And if he does good, that's going to be great for us. And outside of Justin Jefferson, actually, our receiving room looks really, really bad with KJ Osborne gone. But Tristan Jackson, you're going to be gone. And the funny thing is, N'Keal Harry's actually a 73 overall tight end. More of a receiving guy there, but Robert Tunyon's going to stay on the roster. And we're going to move on from Johnny Mutt, as well as Nick Muse over here at tight end. And then the long snapper obviously always has to go. But looking at it now, I think I'm going to actually go ahead and run with N'Keal Harry and Josh Oliver. I want to save some cap, but it's not going to be with Robert Tonyan. And I want to cut Shaquille Griffin, but I think right now the penalty is going to be too much for us as I still want to save some cap. But AJ Green out of Oklahoma State, he's actually going to be sent down to the practice squad. But Najee Thompson at only 58 overall, he's got to go. And Theo Jackson's going to be another guy who's going to get sent down. And I feel bad, but Jay Ward out of LSU, I actually really like him. He's also got to be sent down. And it's funny looking here at the right end because Jihad Ward is 30 years old, but James Lynch actually cutting him is going to save us more money. And because our roster's stuck at 54 players, we cannot cut anybody else. I have to make a move maybe to trade Andrew Booth because looking at it, our cornerback room is stacked and Shaquille Griffin's the only guy who really doesn't make sense there, but he's not worth a lot. And I don't think we're going to be able to get a 4th, but this trade makes sense. We stack up on some late round draft picks and Andrew Booth's actually going to get playing time right away for the Colts. And so now going into week number 1, this is going to be our depth chart on the offensive side. The guards still have a little bit of an issue, but we did pick up Justin Puig, so he'll be playing there for us, at least filling in with a 73 overall. And then on the defensive side, I moved Dallas Turner to the other side. Our defensive line looks a lot better than what it did. And our cornerback room, Dwight McGlovin, as an undrafted guy, up to an 81 overall is huge. Harrison Smith, though, that's one contract we do have to worry about. And then Ivan Pace is going to be starting there in the middle instead of Blake Cashman. And everybody's on our team is going to be important because the injury report does exist. And so we're going to have to monitor it each and every week. And so that even means our practice squad is going to come into play this season. You're going to see some of these guys take a chance on our roster. And the nice thing going into week number 1 is that our strength of schedule isn't actually that bad. But it is time now to sim week number 1 and the rest of the season. Luckily enough, though, we have realistic draft classes here, so I'm going to keep an eye on them. And we're already at the midpoint in the season right now, and the entire NFC North is playing insane. We're 4-2. The Detroit Lions are 4-2. The Packers 5-2, and the Bears 5-1. But looking at the rankings, we are one of the worst offenses in the league. One of the best defenses, but one of the worst offenses. And looking at the trade block at the midseason point, it's absolutely insane. There's so many good players here, including Aaron Rodgers. But I want to look at the wide receivers, and there's actually a couple here that if we got could make a splash for us. Like Darius Slayton's a 78 overall, and he doesn't have a lot of trade value. And with him losing targets because we have Malik Neighbors and they have Hyatt both playing really, really well, I think this trade makes sense for us. And so hopefully this will give our offense a little bit of a boost. And the best part is not a lot of injuries have hit us so far, but looking at the rest of the league right now, so many different players are not playing this season. So maybe it'll open up for us. And we finally got our first big injury. Aaron Jones fracturing his hip. We need to re-sign him anyway. I don't know if we're going to do it now, but he is still 89 overall and has been our workhorse back. And so our new running back room is going to be Isaiah Spiller, Ty Chandler, and Dwayne McBride. And that's what's going to have to work for us. But just as I say that's our running back room, Isaiah Spiller dislocates his ankle and he's going to be out for the remainder of the season too. And so we're going to have to add Tyler Batty off of the Broncos practice squad. Hopefully he can play for us a little bit. And so the first year is done, and this is the worst thing I've ever seen. We finished on a 9-game losing streak. The injury to Aaron Jones killed us. Trying to make moves for running backs. Problem is we were post deadline when it really did happen. Thought maybe we were going to have some success with the other running backs, but losing 9 straight is horrible. And the problem is it took a toll on JJ McCarthy. He finished the year 15 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. As in this 9-game losing streak, it started off here 3, 1, 2 interceptions, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Not the best way to finish the season, but we also couldn't throw for a lot of yards. Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson each only having 800 receiving yards. TJ Hawkinson also at that number. Darius Slayton did have 600 as well. But for the running backs, 550 from Ty Chandler. Aaron Jones had a 466, averaging a good amount per game. But then CJ Ham, Isaiah Spiller, Dwayne McBride, all those guys had carries. Not the best yards per attempt there. Actually, from Dwayne McBride, 4.4 isn't bad. But on the defensive side, Blake Cashman was off to a great start. The problem is he tore his Achilles. He's going to be out for 38 weeks, and his overall dropped from an 80 down to a 74 because that's how modded Madden works. But Pace did well in the interim, finishing with 127 tackles. Harrison Phillips even getting in there for 101. But sack-wise, Andrew Van Ginkel did really good with 13. Dallas Turner with 8. Harrison Phillips with 9. Dallas Turner also had 5 forced fumbles on the year with 5 fumble recoveries. Van Ginkel at 3 and 2. And they both got touchdowns. And interception-wise, Byron Murphy, Harrison Smith, Cameron Bynum, each with multiple interceptions in the year. Rookie Dwight McGlothern, the undrafted 81 overall, did get an interception as well. But Mekhi Becton, Shaquille Griffin, Blake Cashman even had one, and Kobe Bryant, was a pickup through the year as Seattle stuck him down on the practice squad. But these are the quarterbacks that did lead the league in passing yards. We see JJ McCarthy all the way down here at number 23. Daniel Jones even beat us, which that could be a problem. But one of the most glaring numbers is the completion percentage from him. 55% is not good. But luckily, we didn't lead the league in interceptions. That was home to Josh Allen. 23 touchdowns, 25 interceptions. A bad year from him. Kyler Murray also a bad year. Anthony Richardson a bad year. Hurts even a bad year. Love too. And so we're decent in the interceptions category. We just need to up our completion percentage and our touchdowns. Do we bail on them just yet? Maybe not, but this is who led the league in rushing yards. Obviously, we're going to have nobody up there, but Christian McCaffrey doing a really, really good job running the football, 1,500 yards. And then receiving-wise, Keenan Allen with the Chicago Bears did lead the way there. Kyle Pitts finally getting some love with Kirk Cousins, but not even a lot of 1,000-yard receivers, only 20 of them on the year. And this is who led the league in sacks here, rookie second-year man Will Anderson putting up good numbers. He's up to an 89 overall. That is crazy, but Van Ginkel finishing 7th in the league is not bad. And then the interceptions, we're going to have nobody really crazy up here. I mean, yes, we're going to have Murphy Jr., but this is how the playoffs look, and it's now time to see who wins it in the first year of this Vikings rebuild. Obviously, not going to be us. We finished with a bad record, but we did get one guy making the Pro Bowl, Andrew Van Ginkel. We had to check that out real quick before we see who did win it all. But that's about it from our team. We did have CJ Ham as a fullback, But hey, we got 2 Pro Bowlers out of the deal. As actually Andrew Van Ginkel almost won Defensive Player of the Year, as JJ McCarthy also finished 9th for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Don't know how that happened, but Dallas Turner won it for Defensive Rookie of the Year, which is huge for us. And Harrison Phillips at defensive line is big for us. He's a 79 overall. He's a little bit older, and we're probably going to have to spend some money to bring him back. But it looks like the Dolphins finally got the Super Bowl. It's crazy because they started the year 0-4, walk away with it here against the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers lost another Super Bowl, which is crazy. Tua Tagovailoa taking home Super Bowl MVP, and the offense now of OBJ, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill, I guess, worked. And so now it's time to go on to year number 2. And looking at some stats matter, it looks like George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk both regressed. And it's rough to see that some of our guys took a hit. Luckily, Harrison Phillips improved, but Christian Darrisaw regressed. Ed Ingram got better. TJ Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson, though, those are really bad. And first to the re-sign period, as a wide receiver number 3, I think Darius Slayton deserves another deal. He played pretty well, 600 receiving yards. But the problem is right here, Harrison Phillips wants a massive deal to come back in the interior. $16.6 million cap hit. I don't know if that's worth it, and I think we're going to let him walk. But Harrison Smith only wanting a couple bucks, I think we can actually afford to bring him back instead. I thought we were going to let him be the one that walks. But then again, he wants to test free agency in the long run, even though I gave him a player-friendly deal. And Byron Murphy's another guy. He just wants to test free agency too, but luckily the development at our corner position's actually been pretty good for us. But Kobe Bryant is somebody that's going to come back. A great pickup for us at the end of the season from the Seahawks. And the latest mock draft has us taking JT Tuimoloau out of Ohio State. Maybe that's who we pick, but I'm also thinking maybe we trade back. There's still some quarterbacks on the table though, but it's first time now to move on to our first big free agency. And since we let Aaron Jones walk, one of the first things in free agency we may need to address is the running back position, but there's not a lot of guys I'm really that interested in down here. Maybe we could get somebody on cheap, and we're going to try to get in the hunt for Trey Smith, but I gave him a huge offer and still we're not even in the top 5. So I did make an offer to Will Hernandez as well, just in case we don't get him. If we get both, that's great. And we need to replace Harrison Smith, Tierra Tart, maybe somebody we go after. And so these are the first 5 guys that we did target. Jamal Adams coming in cheaper to maybe replace Harrison Smith, Will Hernandez, Tierra Tart, and then Kenneth Murray because Blake Cashman's gone. So if he could play next to Ivan Pace, maybe we'll have a little bit of success. But the only one we got was Tierra Tart, so that's a little bit of an L. And it looks like we got both of our safeties, Bynum and Adams, so they're going to be playing. And we got Milton Williams as well, who's actually a little bit of an upgrade there on the left end position. Tierra Tart in the middle, downgrade from Harrison Smith, obviously. He's better than what Blake Cashman would be playing at right now. And then Ben Powers just to fill in the guard spot, playing across from Ed Ingram, who did get an upgrade, which is nice. But before we continue, I need to get Blake Cashman's contract gone. Like, we need to look at the rest of our free agency pool to pick up and fill out our roster. But with Cashman's salary plus the bad Achilles injury, he needs to be out. And so we're just going to do a pick swap with the Chiefs. It's the only way it's going to work. But now back to when it's all said and done. We targeted some big free agents. Did we get a lot of them? No. But that's how free agency works, especially when you come off a team with a losing record. But this is who we ended up getting: Jamal Adams, Bynum, Milton, Yatir Gross-Matos. That was a good one at the end. The money was there, so I decided to actually give him an undercut of an offer just to see if it did work, and it did. But Tierra Tart, Murray in the middle. But here's where it gets interesting. A second-year running back, Jaden Sheardon, didn't re-sign, but is up to a 75. We brought him in. He may be our starting running back, but then Jeff Okudah, Powers, Stats, another guy who had a jump in overall as a rookie undrafted guy, Micah McFadden, Azeez Ojulari, and then to fill out our receiving core, Terrace Marshall and Luke McCaffrey. We did get Noah Gray and Tommy Tremble, but then Kendall Milton, Frank Gore Jr., Zach Wilson, which is a backup quarterback for us that I think is going to be perfect, did not re-sign with the Denver Broncos. Henderson is back, and Brendan Rice as the last guy there. So a pretty decent free agency class. For us, it was all about cutting out some of the weak links to our team, getting our defense up to an 82 overall. They were an 81 last year. Our offense took one step back. And before we do get into the NFL draft, we finished free agency. We went through everything. I'm going to go ahead and make a big trade, and this is going to be moving back 2 spots. The Cardinals were trying to trade up, and I decided to make them an offer. They didn't offer us originally, but I saw they offered other teams. So we're going to go ahead and take this to fall back in the draft, but grab ourselves a really good second round pick as well, because I think I have my eye on somebody who's going to be a great plug guy for us. And that's all mostly because we gave up a ton of picks to move up for Dallas Turner and JJ McCarthy. I want to get a couple of those value picks back for us. So now we have 2 second round picks and a first. And now here, the first pick, Harold Perkins out of LSU, a linebacker slash edge rusher going first. The Bills, who had a really bad season, go Walter Nolan. And that was my biggest fear. Walter Nolan going number 2, and I kind of expected it to fall that way, and the Cardinals wanted to go quarterback because they're done with the Kyler Murray experiment. Another year of him playing very, very bad, and then the Bucs go Carson back. That's what I thought was going to happen, and then because we did trade back, we put ourselves in a great position, as we're going to go ahead and pick Mason Graham. Great block shedding, finesse moves, power moves, tackle, out of Michigan, a big run stopper in the middle, kind of replace Harrison Phillips in a better way. We're going to go ahead and take him. A hidden dev, 93 strength is great. So hopefully, I can't wait to see his overall. Hopefully he does well. And somebody I was thinking about trading up for was Travis Hunter. I thought he was going to go 12. That's where all the mock drafts had him, but he fell all the way to number 23, and I was watching it. Problem is, we just don't have the draft capital to make that trade work for us. And so now we're here. This is the good spot that we're in. We have almost back picks in this second round. And then from there, we don't pick until the 5th round. So we have to make these picks count. One of the places I'm thinking about going is running back. Our wide receiving room's a little bit lacking. Our offensive line, a lot of old names there, but those guys, 77, 78, and 79 overall. Our tackles are good. And I think a guy that we can get to replace Harrison Smith would be Hunter Wohler at 6'2". A taller, big run support safety who does fit our style. I think he'll be good. Nick Emerwari is somebody I'm also thinking about in later rounds, but I think Hunter Wohler right now is probably the best decision to continue to build up our defense as we get another hidden dev player, which is massive for us. That's not going to help us in the progression tool a little bit. It means a little bit less because the XP does not work in Modern Madden. It operates differently, but still a phenomenal pick there. But now I feel like I have to go running back. We have to get somebody to come in that will play well for us. Quinshon Judkins, elusive back, top of the line. We could get him. Donovan Edwards, shout out Patriots franchise, Ollie Gordon, Trey Sanders. But I think I am going to go Quinshon Judkins only because of some of the skills that he does have, like his speed. He's kind of like an all-around back, and I think his acceleration could be good. And hopefully he could take a big jump for us. So we're going to take Quinshon Judkins, 92 speed, 94 acceleration, 88 agility. He could be a great running back for us, kind of like a Dalvin Cook type at 5'10", out of Ohio State. But that means we're not going to pick for a while. And we're stuck here waiting till round number 5. So let's go ahead until that pick. And so we're finally here in the 5th round. Quick jump for you, long jump for me, looking at how the draft has played out. And this is where it's a little bit interesting because we are kind of filled on a lot of the positions that we do really need to worry about. Offensive line, good. We spent a lot of money in free agency, plus Mason Graham to fill up our D line. Wider receiving room is deep now with Luke McCaffrey, Terrence Marshall, and then obviously Darius Slayton backing everybody up. Our wide receiving room's a lot better. Do we sit on a quarterback now? That's something that could definitely happen for us. One of these guys could pop off for us. But then again, I'm really looking at getting one more strong corner, continuing to build the depth there. That could be the mission for us. And so we are going to go ahead and pick up Denzel Burke. Fell a little bit, but I think he could fit for us. He's a normal dev, which is just fine. And our other pick in the 5th round, we're going to take Marquise Cox. Yes, the depth we have is pretty decent at offensive line, but I want to get Marquise Cox to be a plug and play if an injury does occur. We're planning for injuries, and Brian O'Neill missed a lot of last season, so that's a problem there. So we want to make sure we have some guys in place just in case things happen. And now we don't pick until the 7th. And with 2 picks in the 7th, I think we're going to go quarterback first. I think we got to add somebody to the roster. DJ Ungalele, what a fall from grace from him, but maybe he could fill in some spots, maybe compete for that backup job against some of the other guys. Hopefully his overall isn't too bad. We're going to take him first. And with that final pick, Antway Wells, a junior, maybe we could hit on a late prospect. We'll see how the progression tool takes into effect. I love how that all works out. We have no remaining picks, so we're going to go now to the draft recap. And it looks like on a couple of these picks, we absolutely hit. Quinshon Judkins, Wohler's a 73, Mason Graham's a 77. The rest of the guys, hopefully, progression tool can help us out. Fingers crossed there. But even the Steelers had a really good draft as well. Oh my goodness, the McClellan was a 75 overall, sitting in the second round. I was thinking about drafting him, but I didn't think it was going to be worth it. We don't need another receiver, especially one drafted that high. Will Johnson turned into a 77. The progression wasn't coming into effect yet, but that is a great win for us. But maybe more important than just our draft class right now is how the progression tool is going to come into play. And with it running, hopefully we get some good upgrade points, as I already see Caleb Williams up to a 90 overall, and Roma Dunze is up to a superstar. Same with Cole Kmet. But looking at our team, Quinshon Judkins is up to an 86 overall. That's exactly what we need. Kyrie Jackson took a massive jump. Rusty Stats, the center, took a massive jump, but Dallas Turner up to an 84 is huge, and he's now an X factor. Mekhi Becton, we definitely needed that out of him with Murphy gone. I'm just a little mad that Mason Graham didn't get an upgrade. That does suck, but it looks like Will Campbell took one of the biggest jumps, the left tackle that the Patriots did take, as it looks like we did score with the highest overall running back across the board. But there is a problem, as the preseason did finish up. Quinshon Judkins is going to start the season not playing for us because he did get injured. He's going to miss the first 2 weeks of the season. We did also lose a right tackle as well, but the preseason did finish up. Here's going to be the stats. Zach Wilson, JJ McCarthy. Zach Wilson balled out for us, which is fantastic. But rushing yards wise, Quinshon Judkins, when he was in, ran the ball super effectively. Chai Chandler and CJ Ham also running the ball. Jaden Sheridan. But receiving wise, CJ Hawkins and Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, Darius Slayton. This team is going to get good, but we need to cut our roster down. And at quarterback, first big cut is going to be Jaren Hall. And I feel bad, but Ty Chandler, he's also going to be moved down to our practice squad. And I hate to do this because he was a former first-round pick, but Louis Cine, we got to move on from him for depth purposes. And so Louis Cine is getting shipped over to the Pittsburgh Steelers in return for a little bit of draft capital. But post cuts, these are the players that have made our roster. This is our depth chart looking across the board. Overall's an 85. We're almost to that 87 mark. Offense 87, defense 83. Looking at our offensive line too, a big step up. Brian O'Neill, just can't have him regress too hard. And then our defense now, Andrew Van Ginkel. Almost defensive, or was defensive player of the year. Dallas Turner, defensive rookie of the year too. And then our cornerback group, something I was really worried about, took some steps in the right direction. Jamal Adams replaces Harrison Smith. And then our D-line getting upgraded. We're not fully there yet, but we are going in the right direction. And we have a ton of cap to work with heading in to this next season. But it's time now to play year number 2. Looking at it across the board, we have a good strength of schedule. We're sitting at 11, so not the worst, not the best, but we're still in a point where hopefully we can win some football games here. And we have Dallas in week number 1, but the goal this season is we need to be able to make the playoffs. It's simple as that. We have a decent overall team now. We should be able to make a run and make something happen. And so the sim will start now, but I have to stop it here already in week number 2. Yeah, we're 1-on-1. We're doing just fine, but Dallas Turner dislocated his ankle. So he's going to be out for 9 games. Luckily enough, though, we do have a replacement in Azeez Olajari who's going to have to play on that side. So Azeez is going to be a big part of that defense now. And so Owen Papapa is going to have to come in just off a practice squad signing. He's going to be there in that outside linebacker spot as well. And we're at the trade deadline sitting 3-4, but the point differential, we're only -7. It's not bad. We took one bad loss this year, but other than that, we've been doing pretty good. Stats wise, looking at the halfway point in this season, only 7 games in. JJ McCarthy, 8 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, hopefully doing better than last year. Quinshon Judkins has almost 400 rushing yards through 7 games, but he missed the first 2, so through 5 games, actually. So not too bad there. Dallas Turner still on his way back from injury. Kendall Milton as well. But look at the stats here. It's Justin Jefferson that's not playing well for us at receiver. Slayton, Addison, Hawkinson all have more yards than he does. The problem right now is we can't get takeaways. Yes, we're doing a really good job of not giving the football away, but takeaways has been our problem. Our offense is doing well in terms of yards. We just need to put up more points, but we're letting up still a lot of pass yards and rush yards. So what I may do here is take a look at the trade block, seeing who's here. Maybe somebody on the defense that can help us out. Maybe the defensive line is Kyler Murray's on the trade block. That's wild. But defensive line guys, nobody's really there. Nobody. And hopefully somebody. No, there's not a lot of good guys there. Maybe we grab ourselves a middle linebacker in the minimum. No, it's just our Kenneth Murray's up there. And no really good secondary players are there either. Cameron Curl, Donovan Wilson. Donovan Wilson's good. Free safety, only Epps. It's really just a ton of offensive weapons that are up here. And maybe we can go and grab, like, Jacoby Myers is probably the best guy out there. Garrett Bowles at a left tackle position, but we don't need a left tackle. No really guards that could be plug and play guys for us at the deadline. So we're not going to make any trades. The only big player in the trade block that did get moved was Deebo Samuel. Actually, he went over to the Buffalo Bills a little bit early. Last week, the Bills offered up a 4th and a 6th and were able to grab him, which was kind of crazy. So unless there's anything crazy that happens, we may take this now to the end of the season. And just as I said, if anything crazy happens, Junkins tore his ACL. So he's out, like, indefinitely for the rest of this season. 84 overall, so dropped 2 overall points because of the ACL tear. Kendall Milton's still out with a dislocated hip. Azeez Ojulari's going to miss a game, so we got to make some big roster moves now to salvage this season. We still are 4-4, though. And so the first one we're going to pick up is Rashawn Johnson, the running back from the Bears. And then we're also going to go ahead and grab Chase Brown to fill another running back spot. And so we're going to lose some significant rushing yards, obviously. J.J. McCarthy's actually run the ball pretty nice, but Sheridan's going to have to come in instead, and our offense has to stay consistent right now. 9th rushing yards, 10th passing yards, great numbers there. Passing yards, allowed those an issue, but we have to push on till the end of the season, and we're in a problem because we're on another losing skid here, 4-7. We dropped a couple of games here as we've lost 3 straight, and the problem is our pass defense is not doing well. Hopefully, though, Dallas Turner comes back this week, we can turn things around just through our pass rush. And it looked like in some essence it worked out. Jamal Adams, 2 interceptions. J.J. McCarthy, 4 touchdowns through the air. Now, not a lot of passes, and also 54 rushing yards as we do pick up a massive win there against the Packers. And as I thought we were putting together a good season, we're 7-9. And you would say that's really bad, but we're still in the hunt, and we own the tiebreaker over the New York Giants, and we did beat the Arizona Cardinals as well this season. The only problem is we just lost a whole bunch of players to injury. Jamal Adams, Mason Graham, Rashawn Johnson. And after playing the Bears, we didn't get it. Instead, the Packers got it. And the worst thing is we had the tiebreaker over the Packers. And so it was a fight for the ending. And in year number 2, we still didn't get it done. This is what your playoffs look like. Unfortunately, you don't see the Minnesota Vikings in there. And we did get a couple of injuries to end the season. Chase Brown even went down. Gabriel Murphy went down as well. But stats-wise, J.J. McCarthy took a huge jump in the right direction. 24 touchdowns and 13 picks while throwing for almost 4,000 yards. I can't complain. Jaden Sheridan, the one-year man out of Monmouth, put up really, really good numbers in relief. Quinshon Judkins, better than him, I would say. 8 touchdowns, 8 carries, over 20 yards. And Chase Brown had 3 fumbles, so I don't know how much longer he's going to be on our roster. But receiving-wise, still, again, no 1,000-yard receivers. Like, Justin Jefferson, he's going to take a decline again, but did have 9 touchdowns this year as Jordan Addison led the way receiving. TJ Hawkinson, one of the best tight ends in the league. But tackles-wise, Ivan Pace, Mekhi Becton, Evans, Bynum, Ginkle, all the guys in there playing well. Forced fumbles, Mason Graham led the way, and he got a touchdown on the board this year. But in terms of total sacks, Dallas Turner, 9, Andrew Van Ginkle, 12. Those are fantastic numbers as well. Mason Graham even getting in there for some sacks. Grenard and Milton Williams, not bad at all. And then interception numbers, Evans, Blackman both having 4, Adams having 3, Bynum with 2. Dwight McGlover again playing well from the inside. That man coverage is elite at 91 overall. But even Kyrie Jackson did get one. We may have to trade away one of our star corners if they continue to all develop well. But against the rest of the league here, Kirk Cousins led the way in passing yards. J.J. McCarthy, number 13 in the league. That's not bad at all. And I think having a better year than Jaden Daniels. I don't even see Caleb Williams up here. Where is Caleb Williams? He's all the way down here at 3,000 yards, 23 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And Sam Darnold came in relief because of an injury. But Kirk Cousins also led the league in passing touchdowns. More than likely, probably won MVP with those numbers. Deshaun Watson had a good year too, but he did throw 16 interceptions. In fact, Derek Carr led the way with 23. Josh Allen again having a bad year, throwing 22 interceptions. Justin Fields, 9 touchdowns, 21 interceptions is insane. And then Paxton DeLorean, as it looks like the Jets didn't get a quarterback, so instead stuck with a 67 overall. He threw 22 and 21, kind of nuts there. But a good number here is J.J. McCarthy didn't get sacked a whole bunch. 31, that's not bad. And then look at total rating here. He rated out as the 12th best quarterback in the league, as Kenny Pickett had to lead the way for the Eagles. That's wild to see. But even rushing yards, Jaden Sheardon finished 15th in the league. Good numbers there as Jonathan Taylor led the way. Where is the Madden 25 cover athlete? I don't even see him on here. Maybe he struggled with injury receiving wise. You don't find a Viking until number 31, Jordan Addison, but 32 also TJ Hawkinson has only 2 tight ends got more yards than TJ Hawkinson, which is nice, as Justin Jefferson finished 40th in the league. The nice thing is was second in the league in touchdown catches, so that's a positive number out of Justin Jefferson, as Andrew Van Ginkel again top 15 in the league in sack numbers. That's a tough one because he is up for a re-sign this year, and I don't know if I want to pay him because he is turning 30, but it's time now to see if any of our guys did make the Pro Bowl or any awards, and then who won the Super Bowl. And looking at the Pro Bowl roster, Sheardon made it as a halfback number 2, which is awesome. Good for him. No receivers from our end did make it. TJ Hawkinson, though, number 1, which is cool. And Keneal Harry, really? Keneal Harry got a Pro Bowl vote. That's a little bit unexpected there. But Andrew Van Ginkel again getting a Pro Bowl nod, which is solid. Ivan Pace in the middle didn't, but Blackman did. As that rounds out all the guys on our team that did make the Pro Bowl. We got a couple nods, so I can't complain. And Kirk Cousins did walk away with MVP, and we're probably not going to get Coach of the Year. But Van Ginkel did get 5th for DPOY. But our first high award is DROY, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Mason Graham coming in 2nd place. Well, JJ McCarthy finished 5th in Best Quarterback, and Sheardon finished 5th in Best Running Back, as Justin Jefferson also made the list as well. Offensive line, nobody from here on it, as linebacker, Andrew Van Ginkel, and then defensive back, we do have Beckman and Evans on there. So we're doing good. Our guys are getting individual awards as we move into the final year, because the Colts, from worst to first, I don't know how they did it, walked away with the Super Bowl win over the Eagles. Anthony Richardson turned his career around after having a lot of interceptions last year. And so it's now time to get into the last year of our 3-year rebuild. And if I can't get it, let me know in the top comment, what should I do? Maybe even give away a copy of Madden. And the first thing with this year is taking the stats into effect. Who improved? Who didn't improve? Joe Burrow went up to a 96 overall. James Cook even took a jump up. And Donovan Jackson, one of the linemen I was looking at, he did take a solid jump up, but a huge regression from Nick Chubb, as the Kansas City Chiefs got even better across the board there. That's crazy to see. As KJ Osborne's also an 89 overall. What? But Saquon Barkley, massive regression there. 85 to 80 overall. As the Eagles across the board took a massive step back. And there we go. JJ McCarthy playing up at a 76 overall. Now that's exactly what we need. Yes, Justin Jefferson regressed. I can still take a 93 overall. Jordan Addison also regressed. But TJ Hawkinson up to a 91 is nice. While Ed Ingram took a nice jump. And Van Ginkel playing at an 80 overall now. So he went from an 84 to a 77 because the season was over and he hit 30 years old, but is now back up to a 80. So it may definitely be a situation where we just don't bring him back. But now we got to sim forward because it's on to year number 3, starting with the re-sign period. Remember, we need to get this team up to at least to an 87, and we re-signed Christian Darrisaw to start re-signing period. But we now need to work on re-signing everybody else. Ivan Pace, he needs to come back. Bradbury, we can let walk because of Struckus. So let's actually start with Ivan Pace here. This is the last offer we gave him. I need to up this a little bit more. He is our cornerstone middle linebacker, and that's a massive deal for him. But I think it's all going to work out. And hopefully Evans does take this deal, and he does, which is nice. So he's going to be back. And I want to go into free agency with about 60 to 50 million to play with if we want to go after a big target. So far we're in a good spot, as we are going to try to get Kenneth Murray back, and we do at the middle linebacker spot, as we are going to let CJ Ham walk. Rashawn Johnson will also... Actually, I'm going to bring Rashawn Johnson back, only on a little contract. Let's see if he does take this 1 year, and he is going to hit free agency anyway. But Chase Brown, because of his fumbles, isn't going to come back. But Jalen Harrell is going to come back on a nice little contract, except for he doesn't want to. As I think that's really all we're going to do in the re-sign period. I tried going after some of the other guys they didn't want to take. No worries. We're going to let a lot of these guys walk, and let's move on now to the free agents period. And I can't believe it, but the Kansas City Chiefs let Travis Kelce and Pacheco walk. And it's all because they got themselves into a cap nightmare, as we could go after a lot of these players here. And Travarius Ward too. And if all of these guys accept, we may be a little bit screwed, but I don't think they're all going to accept. I just wanted to add one more massive defensive lineman, and Jeff Coat is a stud going from Arkansas. He's in his 2nd year now, has been putting up great numbers. And then De'Aaron Payne, a little bit older, but a 2-year deal bringing him in. He could play very well for us at right end or at D tackle. It's all about the 4-3 look. And then Leo Chenal coming off the edge, but then Zion Johnson there could be massive for us. And hopefully somebody did accept De'Aaron Payne. So that means we can take off the offer we threw to Trenchcoat and get back to offering money. But Trent McDuffie over now to the Buccaneers and Isaiah Pacheco to the Commanders. Only 2 offers right now on Travis Kelce. I'm not going to make an offer though. And it's nice to see in day number 2, we did get Leo Chenal. So those are 2 massive free agent pickups for us. And then from it, we also got Zion Johnson in day number 3 as well as N'Keal Harry. We brought him back at tight end. It only made sense, right? You had to bring him back. But now we're going to go ahead and build a little bit of our roster out. Hopefully get things in the right position as Travis Kelce went to the Colts, who just won the Super Bowl. And our free agency session finished up. I pretty positively. Zion Johnson did get, like we said, and Payne, but Wan'Dale Robinson also in at receiver for us. He could take a nice jump. Leo Chenal, N'Keal Harry, Zonovan Knight, Quavion Marks. Louis Cine, we did bring him back as well as just some guys for fillers. I think overall turned into a pretty productive recruiting or signing class for us as we once again have to get into the NFL draft. And who do the mock drafts have us taking? Looking at it right now, Caden Proctor's falling all the way down, should be back at Bama. But Nico Amalana out of Tennessee is an interesting one. But we're sitting here with Sertain Perkins, a left outside linebacker. I don't know if we need him to replace Leo Chenal, but this draft class is really, really interesting. Looking at it right now, Nick Harbor, 6'5", 240 receiver, Jackson Arnold out of Oklahoma. This one's going to be very interesting. And one of the guys I have to look at right now is Anthony Hill. Yes, we have pace, but the problem is Kenneth Murray's not the best backup in the world, so we need a guy who will come in and be able to play for us, and Anthony Hill out of Texas is pretty good. But I'm also looking at Imran Banks, a big left end to play next to De'Aaron Payne. That could be a massive upgrade for us there. But then also looking at the guard position. The guard position right now is with Ben Powers. He's a 75 overall, not the best in the world. But honestly, I think we're going to go with Anthony Hill at linebacker. Hopefully he's good. Oh, he's just a normal dev. No. But he does have 88 speed. Hopefully he does well. And already at our 2nd round pick, hopefully one of these offensive linemen that I'm interested in is here. No, they're not. But Luke Montgomery is still here. Could be a good player for us on the interior to compete against Ben Powers. And I think we are going to go with him. 301, 6'4", power guy on the inside. He is maybe a miss for us. Hopefully, though, we'll still be good. But the nice thing here looking at it is that we kind of have the option to pick anywhere we want. We could go safety. We could go corner. We could really go anywhere we wanted to. And at pick number 3, we took Malachi, a wide receiver that I did like. For some reason, my camera didn't capture it. But I want to now go back to the offensive line. I want to get somebody who's going to be able to step up for us. But also our defensive line does need some work. And that's the nice thing. We can kind of pick where we want to right now. I feel like we did a good job building up this team. And Aaron Armitage out of Stanford is going to be that selection just to add a little bit of depth to our roster. And he is a hidden dev. That's a massive, massive hit for us there. As on the next go around, I want to build up our tight end room just a little bit more. We're going to grab another tight end. Yes, we got N'Keal Harry, but hopefully Aaron Stedford could be something interesting out of Albany. And with not a lot of picks left, we got to make some picks count for us. So hopefully Cam Miller could be the answer. Zone corner, 6 foot, maybe could be interesting. Bad strength, good speed. And we only pick a couple picks later, and maybe a run stopper would be nice for us. Just somebody who maybe we can move into the middle, move out to the outside if we need. As I think our last pick is going to be Kamari Wilson, a safety for us, maybe could come up into the box. It's harder to draft right now when we don't know truly how things are looking. The nice thing is we pick right after, but Kamari Wilson, as we're going to finish it up with Tyler Morrow, a right tackle that may not make our roster. It's unfortunate. But I forgot, we actually had the very last pick in the draft. I keep thinking we're done, but we're not done just yet. And Nick Singleton's teammate, Katron Allen, probably is going to be the pick here. So you are going to take Katron Allen. Doesn't have the best speed in the world. Should be like 88 speed. But now we're going on to the draft recap. And that's going to be all she wrote here. Finishing off the draft. Taking a look at how our class ended up. And pre-progression tool. This is what the draft looked like. The top guys, pretty decent. Nico Amalana doing a pretty good job. 72 overall is not bad for Tennessee there at quarterback. But Anthony Hill, 76 overall middle linebacker. That is an absolute win from us here. The stats are awesome. I'm just a little bit worried about the block shedding, but the zone coverage is really good. But looking at our full team here, Luke Montgomery, a little bit of a miss, 69 overall. But Malachi Coleman, 74 is, I think, a hit. Aaron Armitage, a little bit of a miss. And I think a couple of misses there up until Katron Allen. But, you know, the progression tool could change a lot of things around, the fingers crossed. And so we're going into our last year. Strength of schedule, we have it kind of tough. 15th, I mean, still middle of the pack as usual, but the progression tool is here, and hopefully our guys got the right upgrade points that they needed here. Looking across, Caleb Williams went up 1. You always see the Bears first. That's how it works. But the Chargers got a massive upgrade. Branch got a massive upgrade at receiver for the Bears. Oh my goodness. Denver Harris, cornerback, undrafted, up to an 80 overall. I don't see any Vikings quite yet though, but looking at it, looks like we did get some massive upgrades. Malachi Coleman up to an 83. Katron Allen up to an 80. Quinson Junkins, hey, he went up to an 88. Dallas Turner at an 88. Our tight end went up to a 70, which is perfect. That's all I was wanting from him. Blackman got up to an 85 overall. And we took a risk on the center. He's panned out very well for us. Same with Nicky Corolana. But we got a lot of good upgrade points and some very, very good spots for us, except for still quarterback. What are we doing, these two? Come on. JJ McCarthy, I thought we were going to get it, but we didn't. But just looking at our rookies, it affected our draft class here a little bit. Tyler Morrow may make our roster now. And I'm so mad that we did not complete our goal. We wanted to get up to a 87 overall. Unfortunately, we only got up to an 86. So we failed one of our challenges in this episode, but Super Bowl still in play. This team is disgusting, but we still need to make some cuts. Let's take a look at the roster going into this season. And so this is going to be our offense. Looking at it right now, I think we put ourselves in a good spot. 89 overall. We got to put something up. Look at that receiving core. 4 guys basically over 80 overall. And then to the running back room. Quinn Junkins, Allen, and then Shredden, who Shredden was our third, or was a Pro Bowler and is now our third stringer. I think we'll be able to have some success here today, and our offensive line has not taken a step back. Instead, got even better. And then our defense here. Jamal Adams and Hunter Wooler, I didn't even know he was up to a 78, but he's there. Our corners look insane. Kyrie Jackson, the 4th guy, at an 80 overall. But our linebacking core and our D-line are going to be pivotal here as we get in now to start this season. Hopefully, when I come back, I'll have some good news. And I guess our season goal this year does have to be win a Super Bowl. So I have to say that before we get in. But maybe week 1 will be, you know, a showcase of what our team can truly do here. Simming this week against the Bears. Come on, show me something good as we lose 24-20. Hopefully that's not the case, though, for the rest of the season. And so once again, we're here, trade deadline in our 3rd and final season, and we're at 3-4 again. We're at 3-4, a 3-game losing skid. We started 3-1, dropped the next 3. Every single game, if I go over here, has been, I think, pretty close outside of this New England Patriots game. Okay, outside of the Patriots game, every game's been close. Our defense ranked not great. Our offense ranked not great. And to make it a little bit worse, we lost Brian O'Neill there. And it's really been our defense just struggling, almost dead last in rushing yards and dead last in passing yards. Still getting it done, though, in terms of points. JJ McCarthy's not playing terrible on this season. Junkins is not running the ball well, but Justin Jefferson's finally coming to play so far halfway through this season. And so we're going to make a change in some aspect to try to stop the run just a little bit more. We're going to bring on Jordan Davis. Hopefully he can help us out. Jaquavion Marks hasn't gotten a lot of carries this year, and I think that's fine. I think this trade's going to help us out. And this is an offer I can't refuse. Jabril Peppers for Kyrie Jackson, Marcus Allen. Jabril Peppers, they want to dump him. And he's up on the trade block for them. I will be more than happy to take this trade all day long. And Kyrie Jackson, our 4th string corner. Yes, he's an 80 overall, but I'm going to take this. And it looked like that trade worked in our first game with all of those guys. We ended up getting the win. Did any of them get sacks? That'd be awesome. Jordan Davis, 3.5. Hopefully, I mean, it'd be crazy to see if that was in that one game where we did play him. As we didn't, he only got 1 tackle there, so the stats aren't coming off of us. But it looks like we put up a JJ McCarthy, you know, trial. We built the team around him. It's all up to him. We got the Lions next week. And so we're going to jump back into the sim, and we're still surviving at 5-5. We have to make a push to the playoffs, but it's another season, another Quinshon Junkins injury in his year number 2 now dislocating his ankle. So he's going to be out for 9 games, which is awesome for us. And so to replace, yes, Katron Allen's there, Sheridan's there, but we did pick up back Zonovan Knight and LJ Johnson, just some other running backs to help us. But now we have to get back to the sim, and our running back room keeps getting bigger as Katron Allen and LJ Johnson both go down. So it's back to Sheridan. That's just how it is. It's back to Sheridan right now. Running back Zonovan Knight also going to get carries, and we had to pick up Joel McLaughlin just to get things rolling. But after all the injuries and everything, we made it. Finally, we're in the playoffs, and we didn't win the division. In fact, it was a 3-way tie for first between us, the Bears, and the Lions, all of us finishing 10-7. Here are the full stats and standings if you are looking at it right now. Los Angeles Chargers 10-7 didn't make it, so our side, luckily, we got in. The Green Bay Packers did flounder. The Washington Commanders were right on our tail, but the Colts, once again, back in the playoffs with an 8-win streak. The Patriots, a 9-game losing streak after beating us. Oh my, why couldn't we have started that? But stats on the season here looking, JJ McCarthy, only 3,800 yards on the season, 27 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, a little bit high on the interception numbers, finishing 9th at interceptions in the league, but touchdowns wise finishing 10th in the league. So he was a little bit back and forth. His QB rating actually puts him as the 9th best quarterback in the league, so I'll take that. But this year you're going to find no running backs on the top list for us, because Katron Allen had 500, Sheridan had about 500, Junkins had about 500. That's just how this season went for us across the board here. And we had 2 running backs finish with 300. So across the board, a lot of injuries forced us to run the football in a ton of different looks. We still finished 5th in the league in rushing yards, 21st in passing yards. But receiving wise, Justin Jefferson's finally back. Finally a season with over 1,000 yards from us. Looking at the past 2 years, 700 and 800. Whereas the first couple of years, finally back into form here during this season. But tackling, led by the rookie, Anthony Hill. Great pickup for us. Dallas Turner also played very, very well. And he did get 13 sacks on the season. That's what we needed. That's perfect for us. But we got a lot more sacks across the board. Jordan Davis, Mason Graham, Anthony Hill even getting 3. Azeez Ojulari coming in support too. Interception numbers, though, were a little bit down. And that sucked. And I think that's one of the problems this season. If I go to the full look, we only had 26 takeaways on the year. Didn't have a lot of giveaways though, but you see it here, a injury riddled team heading into the playoffs. We got some guys back, but we still lost some other guys. And it was a glitch for Jamal Adams, but he's actually back because he was on the IR if you looked earlier in the season for a little bit. So he's healthy. Nick Emery, we picked him up. And we're actually going to release McClellan only because we have a lot of running backs on our depth chart right now. We're going to roll these 4 going in. But we do need to pick up another receiver because Wan'Dale Robinson did rupture a disc. And all we're going to do is pick up Terrace Marshall from our practice squad. So it should be all good. And so the question is, can we beat the Detroit Lions? We're going to go ahead and sim this game and then see how we do. And fingers crossed that we walk away with a win here in the wild card round, and we do, and we play the Atlanta Falcons. Oh, this is a winnable game. Looking at the playoff bracket, the Falcons are the 4 seed, we're the 6, Bears 7, so we got a little bit saved there, and there's not a lot of changes that need to be made, so hopefully this could be it right here, a run to the NFC Championship game, and we made it against the Bears. Oh my goodness, we walked away with the win, 17-16. Grenard, 10 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble recovery, and a touchdown. Oh my goodness, we walked away with a win. And so it's going to be us versus the Bears. Let's take a look here at the Bears team. They're without DJ Moore, TJ Edwards, Sam Franklin, Van Ginkel. Oh, they got Van Ginkel. Jenkins. Oh my goodness, this team is so unbelievably injured. But it's been Caleb Williams, 91 overall. He's been their stud for them. They also have Trey Sanders, who's a decent running back. Then at receiver, Zachariah Branch, 86 overall. Romaduze, 87 overall. DJ Moore at an 85. He's the one that's injured, but they still have Ricky Pearsall as he didn't develop with the San Francisco 49ers. Ouch. Cole Kmet is up to a 92. That's dangerous. But I think we'll have a chance here today against this team. Is there anybody that we really need to worry about? That's crazy. I mean, Terrell Smith, a 71 overall corner for them, has 5 interceptions on the season, and their depth chart isn't that crazy. It's just solid across the board. So many solid players, and their corners actually, their secondary is actually pretty good. Okay, I take that back. Their secondary is very good. And so here we go, advancing forward. Did we make the Super Bowl? This would be a crazy win, and we won 27-25. We have 2 nasty injuries, though. We know our guys didn't make the Pro Bowl, so we don't need to check that out. But Coleman had 80, and McGlothern had a pick. That's exactly what we need. Us versus the Bengals. The Bengals got off to a slow start this season, too. But it's actually the Texans we're facing. So even though players of the games or player of the week were on the other side, it's us facing off against the Houston Texans in the Super Bowl. But first, I want to check out the yearly awards before we look at this game. As Quinn Ewers walked with MVP, that's a little bit wild. As Jefferson finished 7th for Offensive Player of the Year. And then Dallas Turner 2nd for DPOY. That's perfect. And Anthony Hill somehow didn't walk away with Defensive Rookie of the Year. That one sucks. No Offensive Rookie of the Year for us, as McCarthy finished as the 7th best quarterback. Running back, though, we're definitely not going to have anybody. But Jefferson again 5th in receiving, as Rusty Stats finished as the 2nd best offensive lineman, and Yatir Gross-Matos, one of the best D linemen. He had a couple good sacks on the year. Dallas Turner for linebacker. It's crazy to see that our boy Anthony Hill isn't here, but no defensive backs for this one. But going into Super Bowl Sunday, we don't have anybody injured. In fact, Junkins is back from injury, which is crazy. Remember Waller, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Christian Darrisaw. Now, losing Christian Darrisaw is huge. I had to move some guys around, as I'm going to have Nick Coriella play over there on the left side. Junkins in. Offense looks good. Defense, Dallas Turner, Azeez Ojulari. Everybody should be all set. We're obviously without Waller in the secondary, but we should be good. And in the playoffs, we made some good stats there. And it is the Super Bowl, so I feel like it's only right that we go ahead and sim this. As Quinson Junkins opened up with a 55-yard run after a Houston Texans opening field goal. And we punch in the 6 from Junkins. Maybe I was hating on him too much here. Maybe it's just the fact he got injured was killing me. But we were able to put up another score. But the Texans respond right away. End of the second quarter. And hopefully they're able to put in a field goal. And they do so. It's 17-17. But we did put in a score here. Hopefully. And we put in another one. Oh, please. Can we keep this rolling here into the fourth quarter? 10-point lead. And we're driving again. A good pass from Jordan Addison. First and goal here. We punch it in again. And the Texans do respond, making it a 10-point game. But we go on another drive. And that's going to be it. We won the Super Bowl. We didn't complete every challenge. But we did walk away with a Super Bowl win. A high-scoring game. J.J. McCarthy able to get it in there. The trades at the deadline. Getting Jabril Peppers and Jordan Davis. Getting rid of some of our depth. Risking the depth here late in the season, something that we spent 2 years building up. We made it work, and the Minnesota Vikings are your Super Bowl champions, and that is the end of the rebuild. Make sure to like and subscribe if you guys did enjoy. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.